This is a lovely small mahogany occasional table, which is cross-banded in faded rosewood to the top. And it's interesting because it was made by very good Dublin cabinet makers, Gillingtons, who are known really for domestic furniture. But obviously this was a bespoke piece. They were asked, probably by an army officer, to make a version of this little occasional table that would dismantle for travel, and that's exactly what they did. So let's first of all show you their stamp, and if we bring this into the camera, hopefully on this draw edge you can see the name Gillingtons. And the company was started probably in the 1790s by John Gillington. And then his sons joined him, and there's a little bit of confusion as to the exact family relationships. But we know that there was a Samuel and a George who later went on to run the firm, and possibly a Samuel Jr. But of course a lot of the Irish records were lost in the fire, so it's very difficult to nail that down. And after about 1824, George was running the firm, and they'd had several addresses in Dublin, from John being in Stephen Street to eventually them moving across the river to Abbey Street. And they're quite particular on their documentation, their invoices and their labels, to ask people not to get them confused and to locate their exact address. And the reason being was that there were very other good cabinet makers also in Abbey Street at the same time, Williams and Gibton, and this rosewood Davenport was made by Williams and Gibton. You can see this elsewhere on our website under makers, and also we've done a previous video on the makers. So quite interesting to be able to see the two pieces of furniture together by a pair of very good Dublin cabinet makers from the early 19th century. Well, you're going to want to see this dismantled, I'm sure, so I will do that in a minute, but first of all let's just tip it up and you can get a good idea. So you can see that lovely great big brass bolt at the top there, and you can see underneath that the tripod legs have got iron banding to strengthen them, but also to lock them in, and they come out on dovetails from this beautifully turned column, which has also got a brass collar to the top, which is a nice giveaway that it is made to dismantle. While we're here, I mean, let's also have a good look at these super casters. So until you turn it upside down, you really don't get an idea that this little table was made to dismantle. So let's speed up the film a little bit and take it apart for you. So as you can see, it breaks down to the three legs, column, the top, and a brass bolt to unite all of the legs. So let's have a bit of a closer look while we've got it apart, and we can see how well it's made. Well, this has got a lovely brass collar to the top, and they've even taken the trouble of ring turning some decorative lines to it, even though with it being right underneath the top of the table, that's hardly going to be seen. And we can see at the top we've got this lovely great big brass bolt which is screwed into the column of the table. To the other end we've got another brass plate, very nicely engineered and cut to take these dovetail sections to receive the feet. And there's the screw fitting to take the bolt to unite them all. So these are also numbered with simple chisel marks. You can see a 2 there hopefully, and this one is 1, There's the dovetail joint of the leg, and that is marked 1, and you get a better idea of the steel strap there, which just sits on top of the others, crosses over, and then the bolt goes through all of them. So to put it back, that simply slides in like that. The bolt holds it all into place and it's fixed. And while we're in here nice and close, you can see this wonderful turning to this column, and this really echoing the reading to the leg. And there again, the super caster. So there you go, a nice little domestic table which is actually made to come apart for travel, probably a bespoke commission from an army officer. Stamped Gillingtons. The reference number, which you also would have seen stamped, was probably just the order number rather than a model number. Most of their furniture seemed to be stamped with a 4-digit number and the name Gillingtons. Made of mahogany, cross-banded in a very faded rosewood. The cabinet work and the engineering of the metal, just superb. A lovely, lovely table, and made in Dublin, of course, and around about 1825 in date.